And many of the lessons in sociology do involve some discussion, and it's really important for you to be aware of contemporary issues. So when you start the course, and certainly in the build-up to the course, when you're thinking about starting sociology, make sure you're aware of news stories. In the past, we've had lots of discussions about the Madeleine McCann case in crime, or the example of the coronavirus in the mass media. And looking into the sort of further past, you would see cases around various serial killers, and basically anything where the news has got interested, you need to be behind that as well, and then bring that to the lesson. Some of the skills that you will learn in sociology include knowledge, evaluation, application, interpretation of sources, and analysis. So it does attract somebody who is interested in the big question of why. Why do humans act in a certain way within the social groups that they're involved? Certainly in the past we've had lessons on the family, looking at why the divorce rate has increased since the 70s, or in education, do girls and boys learn better in separate subjects, or why do girls do better than boys anyway in GCSEs, which tends to be the case most years. So we do have some trips in sociology. In particular, we go to Crown Court in year 13. That's been incredibly interesting in the past because we've been to see murders and issues of domestic violence. We've listened to the prosecution put their case and then the defence try and answer back for the defendant, and even seen the jury make their final decision. We also have a residential trip to London. That's usually a 3-day trip and involves going to the High Court, to the Freud Museum, and a very popular Jack the Ripper tour where we look around East London in the middle of the evening, finding the places where Jack the Ripper took so many lives. Before you start the course, I think it's important to be aware of what's happening in the media. I've mentioned about stories that are currently taking place, but also please access the material on the website. I've put together some work on socialisation. That's the process of learning norms and values, and that's an important part of sociology. Clearly, gender is a huge issue within British society, and we're looking at, as I said before, the feminist angle on this and different theories and how they would look at that issue. The teachers are myself, Dr. Leggett and Mrs. Owen. We've both been working at the school for a number of years. Our real attempt is to make the lessons interesting, dynamic, and we have lots of humour to try and engage students. You will get passionate arguments because human society is something that people are very committed to. I've seen shouting matches across the classroom, but I don't mind. If that's them putting their opinion across, that's fine, as long as you then listen to the sociologists who will back up your theory or possibly oppose it. And it's really important that you listen and put together your arguments based on everything that you've seen. It's very important that you're a big reader and that you've got the ability to take notes on some quite complex sources. We'll provide you with the materials, but it's up to you to take them home and read over the different perspectives on sociological issues. Your job then becomes a kind of ringmaster where you're presenting different views and then drawing a conclusion on the sources that you've been able to distill. The exams for sociology are quite demanding. There are 3 of 2 hours each. The first one is on the education topic, and we also do some work on methods. That's how sociologists get their information. The second paper we call Topics in Sociology, and those 2 topics are family and mass media. The third paper is on crime, and we also do some more work on methods for that paper and some work on sociological theory. All of the questions are testing, but fair, and you won't be asked on anything that you've not studied during the course with us. Questions range from 4-mark and 6-mark short answers to 30-mark essays where you will need skills of evaluation and analysis. I really hope you enjoy sociology when you come to join us in Crompton House. I do believe it's a subject that people have really thrived on in the past. We're very proud of our exam results, and the fact that we remain in touch with so many students shows us how much they get out of the subject. In the meantime, whilst you're preparing to come and join us for sociology, I do urge you to follow CH Sociology on Twitter. Ex-students will smile when they hear about that, as I mention that fairly regularly. I often put on links to films which will be worth watching for sociological interest, and also interesting articles in the newspapers or links to certain websites. If you'd like to follow @CH Sociology on Twitter, that will give you access to the links and the recommendations that we put forward for you. And I look forward to seeing you in September.